2020 से पहले when you used to train candidates and post 2020, have you seen a major
There is
difference?
a huge difference.
Okay.
Major difference. You see, I have seen youngsters have become more introverts.
Mhm.
They become more secretive. They are more cut off from the families. There is huge communication gap between elders.
Exactly, क्योंकि ह्यूमन टच है नहीं है, बात कर नहीं सकते, हम इमोशन समझ नहीं सकते, तो हम एक तरह से एक लाइफ रोबोटिक बन चुकी है. एंड देन यू कैन जस्ट स्विच इट ऑफ. जब नहीं बात करनी, स्विच ऑफ कर दिया, विच यू कैन नॉट डू इन पर्सनल लाइफ.
This is a very major concern you have been talking about. You see, why I am telling you, especially I am concerned because when these youngsters want to become officers in the armed forces, we are going to see their 15 officer-like qualities.
People are erupting now.
Impatient,
Yes.
short-tempered, and kind of rage. It's a rage. So Kolavari in Tamil we call it Kolavari. What is Kolavari? There's a song.
That song, Kolavari D.
Kolavari. See, this is Kolavari. This is that killing rage.
पुशअप लगाए हैं, जान निकल गई. सोचिए 100 पुशअप्स इकट्ठे, एंड दैट टू बाय 63-year-old पर्सन. 63 इयर्स पे 100 पुशअप्स इकट्ठे एक ही इंसान लगा सकते हैं, और वो है हमारे आज के गेस्ट कर्नल अशोकन, जो कि ना ही एक मिस्टर केरला रह चुके हैं, बट 8000 से ज़्यादा बच्चों को एसएसबी क्रैक कराने में उनकी मदद कर चुके हैं. तो चलिए मिलते हैं कर्नल अशोकन से. कर्नल अशोकन, यू हैव अ वेरी टावरिंग एंड वेरी वाइब्रेंट पर्सनालिटी. इसका राज क्या है?
Thank you, Supreet. I mean, you made my day, starting with a wonderful compliment. Most probably, I feel it is because I don't carry stress too much in my life. Like, I have a principle in life. It's good to understand. You see, you age very fast. Not because of anything else, but stress.
Stress, right? As we are talking, हम stress की बात कर रहे हैं. Stress एक तरह से part of life नहीं बन गया आज की डेट?
It is. Stress has become a major concern with the today's youth also, with the today's world, with the materialistic pleasures all around.
So how do you cope up with this, like in your life?
Okay, you see, I told you, secret of health for not only me, anybody for that matter, would be a healthy body and a healthy mind.
Healthy body and a healthy mind. Okay.
Yes, so this is the mantra. So for the healthy body, you need to exercise.
Okay.
And have a healthy diet.
But as आज की डेट में जो यूथ भी एंड एवरीबडी सेइंग द लाइफ इज टू फास्ट पेस्ड, टाइम ही नहीं इन चीज़ों का बचता. जब तक सुबह जाते हैं तो ऑफिस जाने का टाइम है, शाम को आते हैं तो फिर थक जाते हैं. तो
यार अक्षय कुमार, you remember, used to tell a very interesting thing always. You have 24 hours. Can't you give 1 hour to your own body and mind?
इसमें because you have served the army for a good amount of time, and आप अभी भी जैसे लाइफ कंडक्ट कर रहे हैं, तो इट इज़ अ वेरी डिसिप्लिन्ड लाइफ एज ऑफ जितना मैं आपको जानता हूँ. तो एज पर यू आपको लगता है कि इनडिसिप्लिन इज वन ऑफ द मेजर रीजंस हमें जो स्ट्रेस रहता है लाइफ में?
इनडिसिप्लिन वन ऑफ द रीजंस, बट इनडिसिप्लिन कहाँ से आता है? Indiscipline comes from conditioning also. Conditioning which happens from childhood. And the environment also will keep you disciplined and indisciplined. You see, indiscipline is of two things. One is sense of responsibility and sense of duty to yourself and to the nation.
Okay.
So, when you don't care about these major values in life, naturally your life will be indisciplined. For the mental health, major enemy of our mental health, the nemesis I should say, is the stress factor. Because as the day gets into, every day is uncertain, the kind of pressures around materialistic pressures, psychological pressures, emotional pressures adding on, you tend to develop stress, and we don't release this stress. So it has become like a pressure cooker without the release valve. One day it has to burst. So you need to have a release valve so that the pressure releases. So how do you do that? So everybody got their own methods. My method is very simple. You know what? I do have stress. It's not that I say I'm stress free. No, nobody is stress free, right? Nobody is a robot. Everybody got their mind. So what I do when I have a stress in my life, I take a pause and I first detach from that problem and see it in wholesome, from a 360 degree. That is the first thing I do, observe it. Dispassionately observe it. Right?
Okay.
So that's the first thing I do. Second thing I do is I ask myself a question, can I have a remedy for this stress immediately or not? Which means, is it under my control or it is not in my control? So this question should come in our mind. So the moment you feel, yes, this stress is in your control, there is a solution which is in your control. Do it. Don't wait for getting. Don't have procrastination that you keep thinking about it, overthinking about it, worrying about the results to come, worrying about all negativities about it. Just do it.
So action is more important.
Action is more important. You see 30, 35 youngsters, they look burnout. They look haggard. They can't walk properly. And they get into another problem, bulimia. You know what is that? You know that. They feel that it's a stress buster, but it's not a stress buster. It is adding to the stress.
Binge eating has become
Yes,
a good
binge.
stress buster.
This is
but
bulimia.
Eventually, it eats up your body.
Yes. So this is part of the stress building. And that itself is giving another stress of your body is getting obese. And obese body gives so many other problems. So, you are mounting on and it gets into a kind of vicious circle, one adding to the another.
इसी के साथ ही मैं एक पॉइंट एक्स्ट्रा आपसे जानना चाहूँगा कि क्या आपको लगता है कि जो मटेरियलिज्म इतना बढ़ गया है हर चीज़ में, एवरीबडी वांट्स एवरीथिंग, तो वो हाई एक्सपेक्टेशंस भी इन टर्म्स ऑफ मटेरियलिस्टिक थिंग्स, तो वो भी एड अप हो जाता है और उस वजह से वो विशियस साइकिल चलता रहता है एंड देन यू एंड अप लाइक बिंज ईटिंग या और चीज़ें करते हैं एंड यू कीप ऑन ओवर थिंकिंग इंस्टेड ऑफ एक्टिंग ऑन इट. वो थॉट प्रोसेस चलता रहता है, थोड़ा विशफुल हो जाता है. तो ये क्या ये मटेरियलिस्टिक साइकिल की वजह से, क्योंकि पहले एक समय था जब इतनी चीज़ें एक्सेसिबल नहीं थी, पर जैसे इंटरनेट इतना वास्ट हो चुका है, एवरीथिंग इज अवेलेबल ऑनलाइन, पीपल आर पुटिंग स्टोरीज ऑफ रोमिंग इन यूरोप एंड द अदर पर्सन फील्स के यार लाइफ तो उसकी है, तो मैं तो कुछ भी नहीं कर रहा. तो इज इट एडिंग टू दैट और इज इट द क्रक्स ऑफ दैट, या फिर ओवरऑल कोई और स्टोरी बनती है?
This has really changed the dimensions of living. Especially the youngsters, I've also gone through the youth, but those times, as you said very correctly, we didn't have much of entertainment. Our entertainment was playing and socializing, roaming around with friends and going around, seeing places with friends, spending more on human connection, human relations. But with this multimedia creeping into our lives, it has stolen this space and we have got more attached to the virtual world now. But as in 19 years after starting my institute called Olive Greens Institute, I am training for armed force officers, all these youngsters. So I've been seeing every day a new set of candidates. Every week we get a bunch of new candidates coming all over from India. So I see a microsome I find everybody together, it's a heterogeneous group coming from all places. So I can just see through and see how do they look like. And I finally find there is a common aspect, there is a common factor among everybody, and that is most of them have got hooked to multimedia. Really hooked, addicted. And in the bargain, what happened? Most of them have become introverts. Especially this COVID time added on. Because COVID time made a restriction on movements, physical connectivity.
Yes.
So it has also added you to confine between four walls in a confined place. So this is also has been I should say it enhanced probably the kind of connectivity with the virtual world. So everybody, as I find, they have so many friends in the virtual world. Probably they have not met them. They have only spoken to them, online. And you start sharing secrets with them. you connect with them so well because you feel that nobody knows me because most of them got a secret identity also, as you know. See, they connect with them very very fast. Then you don't have any qualms to speak about yourself because you think that he doesn't know me, you know.
Yes.
So what happened is, as days went by, probably becomes a habit. The youngsters today, I feel they lost how to socialize with people. Real friends are less, virtual friends are much more. This is a major problem.
This is actually, as you rightly said, during COVID times, because meeting people had become a luxury and there were so many restrictions. Around that point, the kids who were supposed to go to school, they were attending virtual schools. And everybody became virtual. And working from home, जो आज तक चल रहा है, कि work from home अभी भी कुछ लोग fully अभी भी work from home कर रहे हैं, कुछ लोग एक आधा दिन ऑफिस जाते हैं, कुछ नहीं कर रहे.
It has got into psychological issues with a lot of people. Many relations were broken because of at home. You're seeing from morning to evening one face. Naturally, झगड़ा होना ही. We want to get out from the home.
Exactly, क्योंकि ह्यूमन टच है नहीं है, बात कर नहीं सकते, हम इमोशन समझ नहीं सकते, तो हम एक तरह से एक लाइफ रोबोटिक बन चुकी है. एंड देन यू कैन जस्ट स्विच इट ऑफ. जब नहीं बात करनी, स्विच ऑफ कर दिया, विच यू कैन नॉट डू इन पर्सनल लाइफ.
This is a very major concern you have been talking about. But these qualities, social graces, social skills, this is abysmally missing today in the youth.
2020 से पहले when you used to train candidates and post 2020, have you seen a major
There is a
difference?
huge difference.
Okay.
Major difference. You see, I have seen youngsters have become more introverts. They become more secretive. They are more cut off from the families. There is huge communication gap between elders. Generally, youngsters feel that we are not understood. I find especially after the COVID era, I find there is lot of psychological issues erupting among youth.
And
Getting depressive, anxiety syndromes.
and are we doing, like, as a society, anything for it?
I doubt. Nobody is taking it seriously till today. Haven't you seen the violence have increased
Yes.
after COVID times? Not only India, all over the world.
All over the world. Yes.
Haven't you seen this?
People are erupting now.
Impatient,
Yes.
short-tempered, and kind of rage. It's a rage. Kolavari in Tamil we call it Kolavari. What is Kolavari? There's a song.
That song, Kolavari D.
Kolavari. See, this is Kolavari. This is that killing rage.
So now we understand the meaning of Kolavari.
Kola is murder in Tamil.
Okay, okay.
Worry is, the fury.
The fury.
So the meaning connects. Killing fury. It suddenly erupts. That is Kolavari.
So do you find any solution for this, like in today's date?
You see, there are so many solutions, as you know. You see, you will find many things like how a youngster, chalo, I am not trying to criticize youngsters because I think like a youngster. That's why I want to tell you this.
You look like a youngster.
Thank you very much. Because I connect with the youngsters very fast. I get into their mind. And see, I personally feel a lot of my generation say youngsters have communication gap. They have gone average. They don't have any passions. They got no value systems. They are too materialistic. They, don't even mind to push the elders or old people from home to a old age home and put them there. Many are true. But then our generation conceal a fact that who groomed them to be a youngster. We groomed them.
True.
This is the next generation. So, in their formative years, from a child to be a teenager and a youngster, we call it an adult right now, who had groomed them? Our generation has groomed them, no? So, if they lost their moral values, is the baby responsible or the father responsible or the mother responsible? We are also responsible, but we don't want to take that responsibility. We have a kind of defense mechanism. We always try to say, everybody, not only we, everybody, we got a defense mechanism. We say, we are right, the other person is wrong. And we find ways and means to believe so. So what happens, we keep telling lies to ourselves 100 times that the lie becomes a truth for us. You got my point?
And that kind of attitude doesn't work in SSB.
This is everywhere. It doesn't work in SSB at all.
Yes, yes.
You have to now seep through all these layers of lies and see the truth. Like you peel the onion layer by layer and see the finest core inside.
Yes.
Nobody wants to see that. That's a problem. So unless you peel off this layer of lies and prejudices and superstitions and this rage for no reasons, you can't see the truth. If you don't see the truth, how do you do remedy? How do you do the remedy? Yet this is not only for us, for the youngsters also should think like that. No?
As you mentioned that you need to accept certain things and then first of all accept that you're doing something wrong. Like for example, if some people are hooked to the social media, the first thing has to come as acceptance.
They will not accept. Nobody accepts.
Yes.
Addiction is such.
Yes.
Because addiction is a habit formed. And habits and hobbies are a lot of difference, as
Yes,
you know.
true.
Hobby is a creative effort. Habit is mostly an addiction, which is actually pulling down your personality, you know. And the word itself, habit, as it's very famously said, that word itself is very addictive. You know, HABIT. You remove H, a bit remains. You remove A, bit remains. You remove B, it remains. Then you remove T, that I remains, that aham, ego,
Yes.
that still remains. So it is very addictive.
So coming to I, don't you think that the society, when it has been talking about individualistic society as it used to be said in the Western world since many years, that you need to become an individual. So if as we are going towards a lot towards being an I, isn't that also causing a lot of mental health problems?
Definitely, you see, we'd say egoistic. He is very egoistic. So when we speak, he is very egoistic. We are seeing in a negative manner. He is, arrogant. He puts I in front of everything else. That is the meaning then. But can't you feel that ego is also important for life? If you got zero ego, your esteem will be very low. You will have a very low self-esteem. So ego can be seen as a positive quality to a certain extent. After that, it becomes a negative quality.
So what is the thin line between self-esteem
Thin
and
line is very interesting. In psychology, we say id, ego, and superego.
id, ego,
ego, and
superego?
Yes.
Okay.
So very interesting to understand this. What is id? Id is the basic instincts of a human mind. Basic instincts. So these are we call animal instincts in a human being. Okay. So can you remove them from your mind? No, you cannot remove, but you can control them. So we all grow with certain id, right? Now what happens is when you start living in a society puts certain rules on you, certain regulations on you. Society teaches certain discipline on you. Starting from parents, then teachers, then the society, friends, relatives, and the whole society as such puts certain rules and regulations on you, including the law and regulations which will put you in a jail when you do something wrong. So as we grow, I'm talking about the layers, these layers start forming on your personality.
Yes.
And the layers makes the ego. Now, certain ego is very important for a civilian, for a citizen to survive, because if your ego is not good enough, you remain in the id form, you become a criminal. Why rapists are rapists? Because their id is very strong in them. So the id has overpowered their ego.
Okay.
Why a person steals when he is hungry? Like a dog, like a street dog. He doesn't have anything in mind. He doesn't know any rules and regulation. He will go and steal and eat, isn't it? But you tame that dog in a house, you say, sit down, he sits there. So because you have put discipline in him. So discipline part of ego. Then he feels that, yes, I am a dog, I should not take it, Yes. I'm a well-bred dog. I am not that street dog. He also gets that feeling.
That's true. You can feel the refinement in that dog.
So ego to certain extent is required in a society to survive. Otherwise, we will kill each other here. We will be at throat of each other. You will rape every woman you find.
Yes.
You will kill every child and bloody throw it.
So that's why education has always been very important.
So you see the violence around in the world Ukraine and Palestinians, the id is playing in the men now. No mercy, revenge. Haven't you noticed this? So the world is overcome by the basic animal instincts again. So this is a very bad thing happening in the world. When the ego becomes too much in you, you become arrogant, you become self-possessed, you become a narcissist.
So any examples, any names you can mention who were narcissistic and people can relate and understand that?
Hitler.
Yes, the biggest.
Because everybody will be happy when I say that. There are so many around, I don't want to. So, what happens is, this is one form. Now, there is another layer also, which I would like to tell you. We call it, I told you earlier, super ego. Now, what is super ego? That ego becomes so much in you, you are stuffed with ego. He starts feeling, I am more than a human being. I'm a semi-god. He's a megalomaniac.
And who are the people normally?
Megalomaniacs both hai duniya mein. All these godsmen are megalomaniacs. Many are in jail.
Okay.
You see, all these godsmen, they got super ego problem. So what they feel, I will advise everybody. This is not for me. I'm above all this law. Now you will find all these people who have been advising others, all moral values, they've been the worst kind of people. They had a huge hypocrisy and double standards in their mind. Haven't you noticed this?
But how are they able to overpower over the other people? And
because they got a magnetic personality. The knowledge is heavy. Super ego guys are very good. They got a brilliant brain. They know how to exploit others' mind.
Okay.
They can see through your mind and they will see where you can be exploited.
Okay.
When you look at these people who got lakhs and lakhs of followers, they kill if they've been told. People are ready to come and kill for the guru. They are not even thinking that कि गुरु ने हमको क्या सिखाया, हिंसा सिखाया ना, हम क्यों गुरु के नाम पे मार रहे हैं? They don't think. Because they become zombies. Their mind has been enslaved.
So whatever killings.
Super ego is it's not good.
That's very true. And on एक इसी के थ्रू मैं एक क्वेश्चन आपसे और जानना चाहता हूँ. Whatever killings are happening around the world in terms of जो हम रिलीजन के नाम पे है या फिर कुछ
किसी के नाम पे भी हो सकता है,
तो
कॉज के नाम पे हो सकता है.
Exactly. तो ये जो लोग उनको डायरेक्शंस देते हैं, they are people with super egos.
You see, there are two things. Certain people are megalomaniacs, like Osama bin Laden. He thought he was next to the prophet himself. There are lakhs of people who are ready to do self-immolation for the cause. So you ask them, are they terrorists? They say, we are not terrorists. We are fighters of the God. They feel they are fighting a holy war. For them, they are not terrorists. You ask Hamas, do they feel they are terrorists? No. Erdogan, the Turkish president, he said that they are warriors for the God. Lakhs of people have come for his meeting yesterday. And they all said Palestine is fighting for their own nation. Palestine is fighting their own existence. And Israel, they say, we want Israel to be tried for war criminals, as war criminals. So you look at this. So this is another way of thinking. So you tell me now, who is good, who is bad? It is all about your attitude and the way you are conditioning your mind.
As we are discussing the Israel-Hamas conflict, we just mentioned, जो भी आपसे बात करना चाहूँगा, मैं एक तरह से चाहता हूँ कि whoever is watching this podcast should उनको एक पता चले कि what is the right way of thinking and what is the right way of going further in life. If you want to contribute something, contribute in the right way and not just एक भेड़ चाल में ना जाए. तो जो हमस और इजराइल में जो इतनी किलिंग्स हो रही हैं और इस समय जो भी ये कॉन्फ्लिक्ट चल रहा है, इसके बारे में एक तो थोड़ा सा आपसे जानना चाहेंगे. फिर उसके बाद यूथ जो इसमें गलत हाथों में जा रही है या फिर जो किलिंग्स कर रही है, उनका क्या माइंडसेट होगा जिससे वो कर रहे हैं, और फ्यूचर में ऐसे कोई इवेंट्स ना हो तो उसके लिए यूथ का किस तरफ डायरेक्शन जाना चाहिए, बीइंग इट कोई भी रिलीजन हो, किसी भी रिलीजन के नाम पे, सो दैट द यूथ जो है दुनिया के बेटरमेंट में या पीस में काम ज़्यादा करें और इन चीज़ों में कम.
See, Palestinians, yes, my heart goes with them. children are getting killed, ladies are getting killed. Till yesterday, around 8,000 Palestinians has been killed and massacred, rather.
And any
Started with the first attack of Hamas, where 1,400 people died. But retaliation was very deadly. It is really bad. But it is war. In war, definitely there is going to be collateral damage. Now you'll ask me, Israel, aren't they cruel enough to kill these children and ladies and women? Destroying 2.2 million people's livelihood
actually this
in a
is
small strip.
this was the question I was going to
Yeah,
ask.
Gaza Strip is a very small strip, 46 kilometer width, and 2.2 million people are over densely populated in that place. But my question is, Jordan is on one side, Egypt is in one side. Egypt has got a border with them. Egypt is a brotherly Muslim country. Why they are still closed the borders? Can't they open this border? At least when Israel asks Palestinians to get out of northern Gaza, half of the Gaza has been asked to vacate so that they can fight the Hamas. See, Israel has given ample notice. They said we will start the ground occupation within 24 hours. They almost now 7 days they waited. Now yesterday they started the ground offense, right? Now these 7 to 8 days they have been giving extra time because the world was crying, the world was against Israel for that matter to that extent. So the point I want to tell you is, if the Muslim Brotherhood is so much worried about Israelis, why can't they open the border and allow them to come into Egypt? No, they don't want to come.
What is the reason behind
Al-Sisi says, I will not take them inside. There are 2-3 reasons he's saying. You know what he's saying? They are saying, first thing they are saying, that we don't want the Hamas to come inside and create problems here.
that is like they're becoming a little hypocritical?
This is what I'm saying. The whole bloody world is hypocritic. Everybody talks something and does something else.
So do you think the same happened with the Ukraine?
You definitely, I'll come back to Ukraine. Ukraine is a different story altogether. But now the whole world is looking at Gaza. So I'm wanting to say one more thing in this. Second thing, he got a point here. He says, if I allow Palestinians to come inside, Israel will never allow them to come back. And that's a fact.
Okay.
So here I understand his logic. He says, if Palestine at this point of time get migrated to Egypt, if I give them asylum, then Israel will never allow them to come back to Gaza. And Israel also is saying, ki you allow them to come inside, then we will not allow them to come back also.
Okay.
So they are scared of Israel also, because if Egypt opens up and the complete Hamas gets into Egypt, then Israel will hit the bloody Egyptians also now. Because Hamas ka ham bhi ho, Egypt chhodega nahi, Israel chhodega nahi hai. So they don't want to bring the war inside Egypt now. Because definitely the moment border opens, the first people to escape would be Hamas only.
So they have their own insecurities.
Naturally. Hamas ही अंदर घुसेगा ना फिर. तो फिर हमास अंदर घुस गया तो फिर इजराइल हंट करके मारेगा इनको. हंट करके मारेगा तो Egyptians also will die. So they have their own concerns now. But the point here I want to say is, the whole world was crying for Israel first day when Hamas made a blitzkrieg attack in the morning. 1,400 people died. 222 people has been taken hostages.
And that was also like they were not expecting. वो expect ही नहीं कर रहे था इजराइल के ऐसा कुछ होगा.
It was, जो भी मैं आपको बता रहे थे ना कि ये है how human mind, with a beautiful word which we have is जुगाड़. जुगाड़. How a जुगाड़ू mind can beat the bloody technology. इसका एक specimen, it's a living example है how Hamas hit Israel. Because Israel has got the most sophisticated technology in the world.
Yes.
Right? The fencing they have made is a totally electronic and, totally sophisticated
Intelligence failure.
intelligence, and it has got everything the world can think about. That fencing they have made between Gaza and Israel का जो border cover किया है, उसका तो पूछो मत. That fencing cost $1 billion. Fencing only. Okay. Now what they've done, now I'll tell you very interesting thing in this. They have watch towers, okay, बीच बीच में watch towers बनाए हुए और watch tower में manning नहीं है. It is not manned. It is electronically manned, remotely manned by huge bloody gun systems, sophisticated gun systems, cannons which can fire everywhere more than 2,000 rounds per minute. It can fire and distance of 10 kilometers it can cover.
And they have
चारों
an
तरफ डेजर्ट है, कहाँ से आएंगे दुश्मन?
आयरन डोम भी है.
हाँ, आयरन डोम तो अंदर है. वो तो प्रोटेक्शन सिस्टम है, डिफेंस सिस्टम है. तो ये जो गन्स को इन्होंने क्या किया है, चारों तरफ देखो पावरफुल कैमरास, ह्यूज सर्च लाइट्स विच कैन गो टू 5 किलोमीटर, ताकि दुश्मन क्या कोई कुत्ता भी नहीं घुस सकता उसके अंदर. इतनी स्ट्रॉन्ग इन्होंने कवर किया था गाजा स्ट्रिप को. और ऑल दिस गन्स आर रिमोटली कंट्रोल्ड फ्रॉम कंट्रोल रूम्स इनसाइड द इजराइल.
ओके.
होल इजराइल में every youngster is supposed to be having compulsory military training. All women are military trained. In a war, 60% of the population are warriors. Okay? 60% of the population of Israel is warriors. That means when there is a war for a survival, you will find Israel got the biggest army in the world that moment.
Because everybody is fighting.
Everybody is fighting for their nation. And that much reserve weapons they have. They've kept everything ready. But what happened after the Yom Kippur war and all, then things become relaxed. Complacent हो गया फौज उधर पे थोड़ा सा. फौज complacent because they underestimated their capability. First point, हमास को underestimate किया, बहुत बुरी तरह underestimate किया. Intelligence failure हुई है इसकी मतलब. Intelligence failure हुई है. So हमास जब भी practice चला रहे थे इस deserts में, they practiced. तो इन्होंने सोचा कि ऐसे ही ये टाइम पास कर रहे हैं, इनका कोई हिम्मत नहीं हमारे ऊपर अटैक करने के लिए. बट इनकी सिस्टम इतनी तगड़ा था. they domesticately made drones. सिंपल ड्रोन जो हम लोग शादी में इस्तेमाल नहीं करता है, शादी वाला जो ड्रोन,
My God.
ऐसे इन्होंने 1000-2000 ड्रोन्स बना के लाए. और ग्रेनेड को इन्होंने ड्रोन्स में लटकाए. 100 कितनी बड़ा ड्रोन्स
डिटेक्ट नहीं हुआ.
सिंपल ग्रेनेड्स यार, कुछ नहीं इनके पास टेक्नोलॉजी. सिंपल ग्रेनेड्स को टांग दिया ये ड्रोन्स में. और दे हैड ए सिस्टम ऑफ रिमूविंग द पिन एट द राइट मोमेंट. आफ्टर रिमूविंग द पिन इट ब्लास्ट विद इन 2 seconds और 3 seconds, वट एवर इज द टाइमिंग दे हैव केप्ट. अब इनको समझ में आ गया कि ऊपर से कोई कैमरा नहीं है, कैमरा तरफ चारों तरफ से है. और पैलेस्तीन के पास में कोई एयरफोर्स तो है ही नहीं है. तो इजराइल नेवर थॉट ऑफ लुकिंग अप. इनकी आइज ऊपर नहीं था और रात की टाइम है और सर्च लाइट ऐसे है कि ऐसे लाइट मारेगा तो ऊपर बिल्कुल डार्क हो जाता है. सो व्हाट दे डिड, देखो, दे फाउंड द लूप होल, दे फाउंड द नेवल ऑफ द प्रॉब्लम. तो व्हाट दिस पीपल डिड, दे केम स्लोली, साउंडलेस ड्रोन्स लेके आ गया ऊपर. अभी मान लिया टेरेस से ऊपर आ गया, ग्रेनेड ड्रॉप कर दे, 100 ग्रेनेड नीचे की तरफ, एंड द टावर ब्लास्टेड. And the tower blasted the whole bloody place. And they pushed 1,000 tractors inside. Tractor पे आया फेंस तोड़ने के लिए. And same moment, simultaneously, 1,200 places were attacked. And imagine they came with paragliding, they came with boats, and it was such a meticulously planned attack.
And why did they choose that music festival?
They want to show to the world that we will massacre Israelis. Terrorizing people. How do you terrorize people? By giving shock treatment. You kill people. Children has been burned. बच्चे को जिंदा जलाया इन्होंने. And Israelis never did these kind of things. So you can't say कि Israelis are as worst as Palestinians. They started the war. So initially, the whole world was with Israel. Sympathy waves were. Even Indian Prime Minister, within 1 hour, 2 hours, he came on the Twitter and said, we are morally with the Israelis because terrorism in all manifestations and forms should be abhorred, should be eliminated. He said that, and that is our stand, Indian nation stand. I respect Prime Minister to immediately come and give support without wasting time. We are one of the earliest countries to come and give support to Israel. But what happened, dekho, within 2 days, within 2 to 3 days, when the hospital was attacked, the major hospital was attacked, and around 600 patients and children who were already injured died. So the immediate news breakout was Israel has targeted the hospital and killed all the bloody patients. That was a very shocking statement for the whole world. And immediately after that क्या हो गया, तो पूरा वर्ल्ड ओपिनियन उल्टा हो गया. देखो कैसे होता है. Within that attack happened to the hospital, पूरा वर्ल्ड ओपिनियन उल्टा हो गया 180 डिग्री. And they all started telling कि अभी यार Palestine has been massacred. अब ये हमास कितनी कुछ किया है सब भूल गए लोग. So the point I want to tell you is the world opinion changed. President Biden also had landed at that place. तो Biden was confused अभी क्या बोलूं वर्ल्ड को, अभी हॉस्पिटल अटैक हो रहा है and he is coming to Israel to give moral support. So there was a lot of confusion that day. But having done a lot of intelligence collection, intelligence gathering, finally President has said, it seems that this has been made up. The enemies have done this, or
Okay.
the terrorists have done this and put the blame on the Israelis.
And the Israelis have technically not claimed कि उन्होंने ये किया है.
नहीं
हाँ.
नहीं, within 24 hours they came out with satellite photographs.
अच्छा.
They came out with many other proof. You know what are the proofs they came out with? It is all in the papers. And they said we have been bombarding every bird. If there is a bombardment happened on that hospital, there should have been a huge crater. Crater नहीं है. There is no pit there. Huge pit होना चाहिए था. नहीं है. Whereas there is proof that rockets have come there and blasted and the whole building got fire. आग लग गया उसके अंदर. तो इजराइल बोलता हमारे पास ऐसे कोई बॉम्ब ही नहीं है कि वो नीचे गिरा के फिर आग लगवा देगा. They got proof. तो इसमें what they are saying is कि same day Tel Aviv के against में, Tel Aviv is the capital of course. So these Hamas and the group, there is more terrorist group also there. इन्होंने काफ़ी रॉकेट्स मारा था, अराउंड 100 ऑट रॉकेट्स मारा था. उसमें 20-25 रॉकेट जो है वो गिरा हुआ है उधर ही. और ये पहले भी हो चुका है, मिसफायर होता है क्योंकि घर में बनाया हुआ रॉकेट है यार, ये कौन से सॉफिस्टिकेटेड है, ये तो घर में बना के रखती है, तो ये मिसफायर हो जाता है. सो 25-30 रॉकेट जाके ये हॉस्पिटल के ऊपर गिरे या जानबूझ के किए. और इमीडिएटली हमास ने बोले देखो हमारे बंदों को सबको मार दिया. नाउ द प्रॉब्लम हियर इज, देखो हमास कहाँ बैठता है, हमास इज सिटिंग विद इन द सिविलियन पॉपुलेशन. ये रॉकेट मारते हमेशा बच्चों के स्कूल के अंदर बैठ के. तो आयरन डोम इज वन ऑफ द वर्ल्ड्स बेस्ट एयर डिफेंस सिस्टम, वर्ल्ड्स बेस्ट सिस्टम है वो. तो आयरन डोम इमीडिएटली कैच करते कहाँ से ये फायर आ रहा है, मिसाइल कहाँ से निकल गया, सोर्स पता चल जाता है.
मैं इसी चीज़ में एक मेरा क्वेश्चन आता है शुरू से वॉर को लेके कि वॉर में सिर्फ
वॉर इज अ डर्टी बिजनेस यार. वॉर इज अ डर्टी बिजनेस.
इट्स अ डर्टी बिजनेस और नुकसान होता है. अब जैसे
वेरी डर्टी बिजनेस, कोलैटरल डैमेज बहुत है इसमें ना.
अगर हम जैसे अब इफ़ वी कम बैक टू द इंडियन आर्मी एक ऐसी जगह है जहाँ पे धर्म की बात नहीं होती और हर धर्म को एक माना जाता है. एंड यूर इंडियंस, आप भारतीय हो, इंडियंस हो. तो ओवरऑल आपकी जो जर्नी आज तक रही है इंडियन आर्मी में और उसके बाद भी, बिकॉज आपने आई थिंक मोर देन 6,000 स्टूडेंट्स फ्रॉम योर इंस्टीट्यूट हैव आई थिंक क्लियर्ड SSB इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग. तो
मोर देन दैट, around 8,000 plus.
Around 8,000. That's a huge number.
19 years now.
19 years. तो ये जो डाइवर्सिटी है ये इंडिया में कितनी स्ट्रॉन्ग है. लाइक वी हैव हिंदूज, वी हैव मुस्लिम्स, वी हैव सिख, वी हैव क्रिश्चियंस, ऑल टुगेदर एक ही कॉज विच इज इंडिया, उसके लिए इकट्ठे हैं. और कैसा माहौल रहता है?
देखो, आई एम वेरी हैप्पी टू से टुडे that India is the only secular nation in the world today.
That's
That
the beauty
is
of
the
India.
beauty. That is why I very strongly believe in Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam.
Yes.
The whole world is our family.
Yes.
In the army, we have been taught from the day one, it is an apolitical organization, non-religious organization. हमारे लिए एक ही रिलीजन है, वो ह्यूमैनिटी है. एक ही कम्युनिटी है, ब्रदरहुड. इसलिए आर्मी के अंदर कोई पूछता नहीं है आपकी धर्म क्या है, आपका मजहब क्या है, आपकी कम्युनिटी क्या है, हम बात ही नहीं करते. एवरीबडी इज इक्वल. वी ऑल प्रे अंडर वन रूफ. All religions play under one roof. And this is the example of Sanatana Dharma. This is the example of Vasudeva Kudumbakam. इसलिए my heart goes for Palestinian people because they don't deserve it. Somebody has done it. 3% of the population has done something wrong. 5% of the population has done something. 95% is suffering. So this should stop. This madness should stop. So you ask me which side I am. I am in the side of humanity. I am the side of survival. देखो गॉड की नाम पे हम लोग आपस में क्यों मार रहे हैं? God has never made religions. We made religions. We divided the God, and we are killing each other for that. What a stupidity! And we are destroying this earth. ग्रे प्लैनेट को हम ग्रे प्लैनेट करा दिया. अभी तो वाइट प्लैनेट कर दूंगा हम लोग. डेजर्ट बना देंगे इसको. It was a green planet. Now you tell me it is like I am destroying my house every day morning to evening without having another home to go. मेरे पास कोई घर ही नहीं है वापस जाने के लिए या कोई दूसरे जगह जाने के लिए. Where do we go from this earth? ये अर्थ छोड़ के हम कहाँ जाएंगे?
अब हम मार्स ढूंढ रहे हैं.
कुछ भी नहीं है उधर ना. अभी तक बने ही नहीं कुछ. There is nothing. We don't have any place to go, and we are systematically destroying this planet and people inside. We are worse than animals here. Animals don't destroy this world.
इंडिया का क्या रोल रहेगा आने वाले कुछ सालों में टू मेक द वर्ल्ड अ बेटर प्लेस, एंड एट द सेम टाइम इंडियन आर्मी का क्या रोल रहेगा, एंड हाउ डू यू रेट इंडियन आर्मी different or I would say better in terms in respect to other armies in the world? ये 2-3 क्वेश्चन इकट्ठे मैंने आपसे पूछे.
It's a wonderful question because with a lot of pride I should say, being a veteran from the armed forces, I was in Army Air Defense. I've seen through my career and my professional life that we are the best in the world. You know why? Because we are the only army in the world who can fight in minus 55 degree temperature, plus 55 degree temperature. There is no army in the world who is so much professional to fight in 100 degree difference. We fight in Siachen Glacier, we fight in Pokhran also. And I used to remember in Pokhran Desert when we used to do training, we were on tanks only, you know, it's all army, you know, air defense tanks. So it's like tanks only, which armored plating. It is so hot, you can't sit inside 5 minutes. And there is no air condition. There is no windows. Okay? It is only filters. And you roast inside with 50 degree, 55 degree temperature, let me tell you. So what we do, we used to rotate our crew. Officer also goes inside and drive the bloody tank and the carriers, personal carriers. And we rotate everybody. And everybody drives. You know why? Because it is multi-tasked. ड्राइवर को अकेला तुम छोड़ देगा अंदर तो मर जाएंगे वो. इतनी गर्मी होता है. और इंडियन टैंक्स आर नॉट एयर कंडीशन लाइक अमेरिकन टैंक्स लाइक ब्राम टैंक्स. वी आर नॉट फाइटिंग सोल्जर्स लाइक बड़ी बियर शीप पी के एयर कंडीशन में घूमने वाले फौज नहीं है हम लोग. वी आर फाइटर्स मीन्स रियल फाइटर्स. We do it.
So is it correct to say that Indian defense forces, I would say, are mentally the toughest ones in the world?
I think so because the kind of terrain we fight. This. Look at the hostile terrain. Siachen Glacier is a place where wind speed is 100 km per hour and wind effect itself is another 5 degrees. So बाहर अगर 40 degree temperature इधर 55 degree to 50 degree temperature हो जाता है. And in this kind of terrain, इतनी मुश्किल है. खाना नहीं खा सकते गुरु. You know, you eat food, firstly you don't feel appetite. And such hostile weather, you remove your gloves and गलती में आप राइफल पकड़ लिया ना, आपके हाथ चिपक जाता है राइफल के ऊपर, मेटल में चिपक जाता है.
And it is not just a frostbite, your hand gets paralyzed.
It's gone case. Frostbite. It's called frostbite.
Yes.
Your fingers are gone. I was in Leh Ladakh for almost 1.5-2 years time, and we used to have a lot of, I used to go up to base camps and come back because I was looking after all the rescue operations as an AAG of the 3 infantry div. 3 infantry was the fighting div there, looking after all the glaciers. So I had seen very tough times. So we get a lot of frostbite cases, and 3 months के अंदर ना बंदे का दिमाग हिल जाता है. He become disoriented with the world. That's why more than 3 months we don't keep a soldier on the highest post. Like there is Kumar post, 18,000 feet में post. ऑक्सीजन नहीं है, ऑक्सीजन रेयरिटी ऑफ ऑक्सीजन है, वेरी वेरी डिफिकल्ट, एवरी डे एवरी मिनट इज एगनी, and there the chap dies in no time. There is something called pulmonary edema, that is a disease. Suddenly because of the pressure difference, the lungs start drawing water from the body and it fills up and you die within bloody half an hour. है नहीं lungs के अंदर जगह, तो it is so difficult terrain here and we have to evacuate him by aircraft, helicopters. And imagine चेतक helicopters उस समय में उसकी जो सीलिंग ही 18,000 है, कंपनी ने उसको 18,000 हाइट में सीलिंग के लिए बनाया गया है, 18,000 फीट के लिए बनाया गया है, हाईएस्ट। वो कंपनी उससे भी आगे सोचा नहीं है, 17,000 तक ही है, लेकिन आर पायलट्स यंगस्टर्स टेक देम टू मोर देन 18,000 फीट हाई, बियॉन्ड द कैपेबिलिटी ऑफ द कंपनी डिजाइन। एंड लेट मी टेल यू, व्हेन वी गो टू दैट हाइट ना, हेलीकॉप्टर ऐसे इट स्टार्ट्स ब्लडी शिवरिंग लाइक ए बर्ड इन ब्लडी विंटर, हालत खराब हो जाता है।
ये डिफेंस फोर्सेस में ये जज्बा कैसे आता है, नोइंग दैट यू मे डाई इन दैट ऑपरेशन और मे बी एनी टाइम, क्योंकि वल्नरेबिलिटी बहुत ज़्यादा है, स्पेशली जैसे आप इन सिचुएशंस में हो, फ्रंट पे हो, तो वो एक वो मोटिवेशन कैसा रहता है?
फ्रेंड, इट इज़ ऑल अबाउट 3 थिंग्स, नाम नमक निशान।
नाम नमक निशान,
ये 3 के लिए हम मरते हैं, पैसे के लिए कोई नहीं मरता है। आपकी इज्जत आ जाता है ना, आप इज्जत के लिए मरेंगे। यू आर गोइंग विथ योर मदर, somebody is trying to pull her out and start raping her, उसको छोड़ेंगे आप? You will die. Killing that chap, you will die. Will you run away?
No.
That is इज्जत। सो हम लोग इज्जत के लिए मरेगा, और दिस इज आवर मदरलैंड। When I say mother, it is motherland for us. That is the fire within us. We will not die, we will kill. Why? I don't want dying, I don't want any martyrs for the army. Don't say कि सर हम देश के लिए मरने के लिए आया है। मेरे को मरने के लिए नहीं आना, कोई मारने वाला चाहिए। किसको? दुश्मन को। There is a beautiful phrase which I suddenly came into mind. General Patton, he gave a monumental speech when he was going to attack the the beachhead operation before the final attack to Germany. He addressed the Allied forces. He said, "My brave soldiers, I don't want any martyrs for this Allied forces, for our nations." So everybody thought, what is he speaking? So मैं BBC में सुनता है, कोई टीवी थोड़ी है। तो बोले क्यों नहीं मार्टियर नहीं होता है, हम तो मार्टियर बनने के लिए आए। He said कि no, let those bastards become the martyrs for their nation. You will make them martyrs.
You live and protect.
This is exactly I want to tell our enemies. We will make those bastards become the martyrs for their country. That is why we are here. We will not die for this nation.
I am getting goosebumps listening to this.
We will make the other countries' enemies martyrs for us.
But the Indian army never attacks first.
See, we have a policy of self-defense. This is our motto, self-defense. Because we are not an aggressive country. Traditionally, if you look at our history, look at our religion as such. हम लोग हमेशा बिलीव करते थे अतिथि देवो भव। दुश्मन को भी अतिथि माना गया। हम लोग ये इसलिए मारा गया, बहुत दुश्मन आया। We had invaders from all over the world because our nation was the richest nation in the world, culturally, economically, and emotionally, and spiritually. We were the richest nation in the world. And सदियों से आपने देखा होगा कितनी इन्वर्डर्स आया है, ये सारे हमको लूटने के लिए आया है, कोई मदद करने के लिए नहीं आया। I feel very sad sometimes when I see our women in घूंघट पहन के जो हमारा लेडीज घूमते हैं या घर से बाहर नहीं निकलता है, किसी से बात करने के लिए डरता है। मेरे को बहुत दुख लगता है। भाई, यू लुक एट आवर भारतवर्ष की ट्रेडिशन। सीता I'm talking about almost 10,000 years behind the history of women. She was a warrior. She was a commander-in-chief of her father Janak Raj. Look at Draupadi. She was again a warrior. She said, I will take my husband if she can beat me. ये धनुष उड़ा के कौन मारेगा उसको मैं शादी करूंगा. सीता क्या बोला? She had the right to choose her husband. What a kind of respect we had for women. Where has that woman gone? हम बड़ी बात करते रहते हैं विमेन एम्पावरमेंट विमेन एम्पावर नहीं चाहते हम लोग. ये सब डबल स्टैंडर्ड बात है हमारी.
तो आज की डेट में भी कमी लगती है आपको बहुत?
दिल से नहीं चाहते हम लोग यार अभी भी. नाउ यू लुक एट दिस. ये आई एम गिविंग अ सिंपल एग्जांपल. ये रिजर्वेशन बिल पास करने में कितनी साल लग गया. अभी भी बड़ी मुश्किल से पास हो रहा है. देखना ग्राउंड में आने में और 10 साल लगेगा.
तो एक तरह से ये एक साइकोलॉजी नहीं बन पाती, विमेन साइकोलॉजी, कि हम भी ये कुछ कर सकते हैं. दो देयर आर लॉट ऑफ विमेन दे आर डूइंग इट. तो आपके हिसाब से अभी और एफर्ट्स क्या करने की जरूरत है एज अ सोसाइटी और एज अ नेशन कि दैट नेचुरली विमेन फील एम्पावर्ड, देयर बोलना ना पड़े?
देखो, विमेन आर इक्वल इन एवरीथिंग आई बिलीव एक्सेप्ट इन द फिजिकल पावर. आई बिलीव physically, biologically, they are not as powerful as men. That is God gifted. But they compensate this little weakness in a better form. They are emotionally stronger than men. They are more tolerant. They can take more pain than men. This is what I've seen. If they can't take more pain than men, God would not have giving birth to the woman. If men would have been given this responsibility, a world would have finished. हम बोलना बेटा हमको नहीं चाहिए. Let me tell you this. So, women has been given this power to tolerate, take pain, and happily. You know what? Because she is giving birth a part of her body and giving separately to another life. So giving life such an honorable thing, God entrusted to a woman.
Yes. तो ये भी आपको लग रहा है कि डिफेंस फोर्सेस में भी अब विमेन एंट्रीज या इवन एसएसबी में आपके पास स्टूडेंट्स आते हैं, विमेन एंट्रीज हैव इंक्रीज्ड?
Wonderful question. You know why? I really appreciate Prime Minister for bringing up this Nari Shakti as a plank of the government, because he put forward this, he opened up India for the girls. That was a very good step what we have done, because earlier India was only for the boys. Okay. And women were coming in a minuscule form after graduation. But India has been opened up for the girls, so girls can compete with the boys now and enter from +2 level. What a great thing happened. Women are very good in precision work. Very good in precision work, and they are more committed to what they are doing. Hence, these days, all the electronic equipments which are coming up, especially the drone warfare, because these days, conventional army is getting old-fashioned. Now, the new mantra is technological warfare.
So, even in air defense?
No, we are also changing in a big way.
Okay.
Changing in a big way. All our missile systems are controlled from the control rooms now.
Okay.
And of course, we've been having our control rooms, moving control carriers, like we were having. So far, till today, our all air defense system was moving to the forefront and fighting. The control room also moves along with the troops. But now with the new modern warfare coming in, that is the drone warfare, which is going to change the whole doctrine of warfare.
The controlling the drones by...
Yes. So even look at the American army. They're sitting somewhere in California or some other place and then hitting Afghanistan, and you will find 50% of the controlling pilots are women, because they are very good in precision job. So they are also fighting, but they are not physically there in the war front. But they are also fighters. And they are doing a better job than men.
And how good India is doing in terms of...
We are coming in a big way now.
Okay.
We are now shifting our gear to total technological warfare. We are even planning, and I wish it should come faster, that even for facing the terrorist in the borders, all these cross-border terrorists, I personally feel we must use drones. Though there is a lot of, protest there because there will be collateral damage, people may die. But then, war is war, yaar. War is dirty business. War में collateral damage होना ही है.
Why is there a huge shortage of officers in the defense forces? What is the major reason?
There are two reasons. One reason is the selection standards are very high.
So I think that's
You
a
also
good
know
thing.
it. You are got selected. You know the selection standards.
Yeah.
You have been selected. You have cleared SSB.
Yes.
That is how we met.
Yes.
I had the privilege of training you.
And that was a privilege of getting trained by you.
So you are an officer material, but you know you have it in you. You have the metal to do it. So you have seen that. Ki in selection, out of 100 guys coming, we are selecting 3-4 of them. Why only 3-4 here? Indians are the best brain in the world.
Yes.
Why then 3-4? NASA has got 37% of scientists Indians. ये क्यों इंडिया में क्यों हो रहा है? Why we are not able to select? The reason is you're not getting the right attitude from people. Most of them coming today, this is one of the major reasons I find. Most of the youngsters coming to join armed forces, they are job seekers.
This
They
is
don't
what I
have the
felt.
nationalism. They don't have patriotism. They don't feel that कि I'm wearing this uniform to safeguard this nation. जो मैंने आप बात की तो आपको बोला ना घूस पिंपल आ गए.
जी जी.
ये नहीं है. तुमको घूस पिंपल आ रहा है ना इसलिए तुमको सिलेक्शन हुआ है. ये तो नहीं होता है.
आज की डेट में भी कोई अगर इंडिया के बारे में कोई गलत बोलता है या कुछ ऐसा होता है या
That
कोई
is why you got selected. So this fire in the belly I am seeing. I want that glitter of patriotism in your eyes. When you come to join the armed forces, when I see you, when I assess you, when I see your personality, I would like to see, is this boy for money? Is this boy for security of life? Is this boy for getting a happy and bloody jolly good family life? Or he is ready to safeguard the honor and pride of this motherland? If I feel yes, he got this metal in him, he got that fire in the belly, तब मैं उसको सेलेक्ट करूंगा. इसीलिए मेरे को सिलेक्शन करने के लिए बंदा नहीं मिल रहा है.
तो जो लोग एसएसबी की तैयारी करने
That
आते
is the reason मैं ट्रेनिंग टाइम पे इनको I try to inculcate that motivation. I motivate them. I tell them बेटा ऐसे नहीं आएंगे फौज में तुम.
कर्नल अशोकन, आप कई साल से डिफेंस में भी जुड़े हैं और डिफेंस के बाद भी आपने इनडायरेक्टली यू सर्विंग द नेशन बाय ट्रेनिंग अ लॉट ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स
Yes.
जो एसएसबी क्लियर करते हैं, देश की सेवा करते हैं. एंड आपका कोई ऐसे कोई फेवरेट कोई स्टूडेंट जो आज की डेट में एक बहुत बड़े ऑफिसर बन चुके हों और आज भी आपसे इन टच हो, उनकी कोई स्टोरी आप शेयर करना चाहेंगे?
You see, I started Olive Green's Institute in Chandigarh only in 2005. So I had only 4 students when I started. And today, with God's grace, I got more than 8,000 officers who are OGNs. I call them OGNs. And my first lot, one of the first lot and all, they have already started commanding units now.
Oh, great.
And many of them have shown their bravery and courage in operation fields, especially in Jammu and Kashmir, and got gallantry awards. Out of them, one of them got 3 times shot. He was a captain. And in spite of his 3 bullet injuries, he ran after the terrorists, shot 2 of them, and he jumped on the 3rd person. And by the time he was losing his conscience, and he rolled over and buddy caught him. मतलब ये छोड़ा नहीं उसको. You imagine a college student becoming a army officer. क्या ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन होता है जिंदगी में. और as we all know, हमारे सोसाइटी तो कोई नेशन के लिए सैक्रिफाइस करना तो सिखाता नहीं है. लेकिन थ्रू द ट्रेनिंग, डिसिप्लिन and his personal qualities, I should oil cues, officer like qualities. So इसका एक बूस्ट मिल जाता है एनवायरनमेंट से, जो आर्मी एनवायरनमेंट से. तो वही बात हुआ मैंने ना, नमक नाम निशान, इसी के ऊपर ही ये पूरा फौज चलता है हमारी. एंड दिस इज ए फॉर्मिडेबल आर्मी as I've been telling, the best army in the world today, इसलिए है कि there are certain ethos we keep very close to our heart, and उसको हम छोड़ना नहीं चाहते, नहीं छोड़ेंगे.
तो जैसे a lot of brain drain has been happening for a lot of years. आज की डेट में भी हो रहा है. 12th के बाद अगर बच्चे एनडीए की तैयारी करते हैं तो बाहर भी आजकल बहुत जाते हैं, जो इंडिया से बाहर पढ़ने के लिए जाते हैं. What is the major reason why students don't find or see a future in India and they go outside of India to study rather than studying in India? या फिर I'm not saying only कि सिर्फ डिफेंस की तैयारी कर रहे हो या फिर इंडिया में ग्रेजुएशन करके सोचे कि हमारा फ्यूचर बने. तो वो एक क्या थॉट प्रोसेस है जिस वजह से ये सब चीज़ें हो रही हैं?
सुप्रीत, दिस इज़ अ वेरी $1,000,000 क्वेश्चन, क्योंकि मैं बीच में एक वेबिनार कर रहे थे केरला में. देयर वाज अराउंड 300+ स्टूडेंट्स. तो मैंने लास्ट में क्वेश्चन पूछा इनसे कि मैंने पूछा कि हु ऑल वुड लाइक टू रिमेन इन केरला फॉर having your livelihood after your studies. Not a single chap put their hands up.
Not a single in the entire lot?
Entire 350+ lot, there was not a single boy who put his hands up. It was like a total silence. Then I asked another question. Okay, now tell me, how many would like to remain in India and live your lives here? 4 students.
296 wanted to go outside of India. What is the reason you found?
And I asked them कि क्यों बाहर जाने जाते हो, क्या है बाहर. तो 1 or 2 smart boys got up. उन्होंने बोला, सर केरला में इसलिए कि बहुत पॉलिटिक्स है इधर नौकरी नहीं मिलते और इधर कोई इंडस्ट्री भी नहीं है. ट्रेड यूनियन की वजह से इंडस्ट्रीज फ्लरिश नहीं हो रहा है. तो मैंने बोला फिर इंडिया में क्यों नहीं है? बोलता, सर इंडिया में आपको पता है देयर आर एवरी ईयर 2-3 लाख इंजीनियर्स बाहर निकल रहे हैं. उतना मेडिकल स्टूडेंट्स भी बाहर निकल रहे हैं और आईटी जॉब्स भी बाहर निकल रहे हैं. इतना नौकरी तो है ही नहीं है. और कितने लोगों को नौकरी मिल रहे है उसमें? आईआईटी का इसके लिए मिल रहा है. जो सिंपल ग्रेजुएट को क्या मिलता है? सिंपल इंजीनियर ग्रेजुएट अगर इफ इज लकी ऑल्सो, उसको मैक्सिमम इसको मिलेगा 25,000 की सैलरी मिलेगा, वो भी धक्का खाने के बाद में. आई गॉट अ सिक्योरिटी कंपनी, उसमें देयर आर सिक्योरिटी गार्ड्स हु आर इंजीनियर्स.
Security guards who are
इंजीनियर्स.
BTech engineers. But
No, आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग एवरीवेयर, बट व्हाट आई एम टेलिंग यू इज ब्रेन ड्रेन क्यों हो रहा है? वन रीजन इज there is a kind of fancy outside also. This is another part. I'm just saying one portion only. But I personally feel major reason could be, everybody wants to go abroad. And they think the other side of the bank is green. And there is एक ज़माने होते थे केरला में कि everybody wanted to go to Gulf countries and work. अब थोड़ा थोड़ा कम हो रहा है क्योंकि उधर का fancy खत्म हो रहा है. The bubble is blast, burst. But you look at Punjab, maximum students wants to go to Canada or other smaller countries also, but mostly Canada still. ज़मीन बेच के कनाडा जा रहा है. जब भी इधर फसल ऐसे गोल्ड जैसे फसल आने वाला जो ज़मीन छोड़ के उधर जाके मीनियल जॉब कर रहा है, क्योंकि पढ़ाई तो करना नहीं है. तो पैसा खिला के कैसे भी पैसे दे के वो इवन इलीगल रूट पकड़ के इवन थ्रू मेक्सिको भी जाता है, लोग मरता है उधर बॉर्डर में. आपको भी पता है, ग्रीक से जाता है उधर ही मरते हैं लोग. सो पीपल आर टेकिंग सो मच ऑफ रिस्क टू गो अब्रॉड एज इफ कि दे आर रीचिंग ए हेवन, बट इट्स ए बबल. कुछ भी नहीं है उधर. एक कनाडा में अभी मेरे एक दोस्त गए थे तो वो आके बोल रहा है, सर मैं गाड़ी खड़ा करके देख रहा था एक जगह पे, तो इधर जो लेबर चौक में नहीं लेबर खड़ा होता है, ऐसे बंदे खड़े हैं 100-200 इंडियंस कि कोई नौकरी में बुला दो तो हम भाग जाओ आज की नौकरी के लिए. मजदूरी कर रहा है. ये हालत है उधर.
सर उसमें भी बहुत कंपटीशन है.
उसमें भी कंपटीशन है. तो इधर अच्छा खासा रहने वाला बंदा घर बेच के अपनी जमीन बेच के जाके उधर मीनियल जॉब कर रहे हो, इधर अपनी जमीन पे काम नहीं करना चाहते हो. तो देयर आर 2 रीजंस फॉर इट. वन इज कि एक तो एक फ्लैश ऑफ द आउटसाइड वर्ल्ड, और स्टूडेंट्स क्यों जाना चाहता है कि स्टूडेंट्स को लगता है कि इधर पेरेंट्स की कंट्रोल में है, दुनिया की कंट्रोल में है, उधर जाके किसी कंट्रोल में नहीं है, उधर में ऐश करेंगे, उधर कुछ भी करेंगे।
थोड़ी देर में खत्म हो जाती है ऐश।
हाँ, तो वो नहीं सोचता ना, तो इमीडिएट जो फ्रीडम सोचता है। बट सो मेनी चिल्ड्रन आई हैव बीन स्पीकिंग टू देम कि सर बहुत कंट्रोल है घर पे, मैं थोड़ा सा ऐश करना चाहता हूँ। आगे आगे सर देख ही जाएंगे, यू नो दैट्स द काइंड ऑफ मेंटालिटी।
यस।
सो अच्छा, दूसरे पेरेंट्स का भी कुछ गलती इसमें है, पता क्या? पेरेंट्स सोचते हैं अच्छा मेरे नेबर की बच्चा अमेरिका में जा रहा है, तो मेरे बच्चे को मैं कम से कम न्यूजीलैंड में भेजूंगा। सोशल स्टेटस,
यस, बच्चे बाहर हैं,
बच्चा बाहर पढ़ रहा है। एंड यूक्रेन में कितनी बच्चे थे, इतनी पैसे गए इन लोग।
जी।
मेडिकल स्टूडेंट्स मैक्सिमम उधर ही है, और मेडिकल कॉलेजेस ऐसे ऐसे यू नो अंडरग्राउंड हुआ, यू नो बेसमेंट में चल रहे मेडिकल कॉलेज उधर कई जगह पे। इंजीनियर आप वापस आ गए मेडिकल डिग्री लेके, इधर नौकरी नहीं है, इधर तो दे डोंट गेट अ जॉब, दे नीड टू पास अनदर एंट्रेंस एग्जाम हियर, वो पास नहीं होता है।
सर पर्सनली
बुरा हाल है।
मैंने चीज़ जो देखी है, एक तो एवरीबडी वांट्स टू डू एक ही प्रोफेशन में एक ही तरह की पढ़ाई करना चाह रहे हैं, क्योंकि एवरीबडी इज डूइंग इट, देयर फ्रेंड्स आर डूइंग इट, तो एक डायरेक्शन नहीं होती, या जिसे हम कहते हैं काउंसलिंग उनकी समय पे नहीं हुई होती। पेरेंट्स आर ऑल्सो अनअवेयर कि बच्चे को क्या कराया जाए जिससे उसका फ्यूचर बने। हम फ्यूचर को बहुत बड़ा वो करते हैं, बट टेक्निकली जो चीज़ मैंने अभी तक महसूस की है कि आई हैव मेट सो मेनी पीपल who are doing very odd things in life, but they are doing it in a great way, they are successful. तो हर कोई इंजीनियर, हर कोई डॉक्टर नहीं बन सकता, तो ऐसा ज़रूरी नहीं है कि आप ये 2 प्रोफेशन या 4-5 जो 10 प्रोफेशंस वट एवर नंबर हम उनको दें कि वो करके ही किया जाए। देयर मल्टीपल वेज यू कैन एक्सेल, तो एक्सीलेंस पे कभी ध्यान नहीं दिया जाता, हमेशा मीडियोक्रिटी को काफी पुश किया जाता है, एंड आई थिंक दैट इज वन ऑफ द मेजर रीजंस एसएसबी क्यों नहीं क्रैक हो पाती।
Supreet, there is a one major reason I find, because our educational system has become so old-fashioned.
हाँ जी,
We are churning out graduates,
हाँ जी,
we are churning out engineers, and practicality इनमें है ही नहीं. They don't. An engineer coming out, he doesn't know anything on the ground. बंदे ग्रेजुएट करके बाहर आ रहे हैं, उसको अंग्रेजी में एक पैराग्राफ लिखने नहीं आता है। इंग्लिश ग्रेजुएट, इंग्लिश मेन स्ट्रीम पे इंग्लिश लेके ग्रेजुएट है, उसको 4 लाइन बोलनी नहीं आता इंग्लिश में। तो यू टेल मी व्हाट इज द एजुकेशन, व्हाट इज दिस एजुकेशन फॉर, व्हाट इज इट मेंट फॉर? तो हमने क्या किया, एजुकेशन को इतनी ओल्ड फैशन चला रहा है, वी आर नॉट डन एनीथिंग टू इम्प्रूव देम। एंड विद दिस न्यू सिस्टम विच हैज कम अप, प्रोस राइटिंग हैज बिकम जीरो। तो you are too much getting into regionalization, ignoring the English. English is international language. आप तो इंग्लिश नहीं पढ़ना चाहते हो, फिर कनाडा भेजना चाहते हो बच्चे को, वो पास नहीं होता है एग्जामिनेशन, IELTS पास नहीं होता है, फिर वो इलीगल रूट में 30-40 लाख खर्च करके जाते हो और मर जाते हैं उधर जाके, रास्ते में भी गोली मारता जाता है। कितनी बच्चे मर गए अभी? तो you are doing, isn't it double standard? You want your children to go to abroad, most of them, and you don't want to teach them English in the schools. स्कूल में इंग्लिश टीचर को इंग्लिश नहीं आता है. What a state of affairs. It is not only here, everywhere. That is the reason, that is one of the reason children coming to join armed forces, +2 लेवल पे बच्चे आता है या ग्रेजुएट लेवल में बच्चे आते हैं, गर्ल्स ऑल्सो कमिंग, गर्ल्स आर स्टिल बेटर, गर्ल्स कैन स्पीक इवन बेटर. They can't speak English. They can't write English. They can't write one paragraph. How do you expect them to give them class 1 gazette officer job equivalent to IAS, IPS? IAS पढ़ने के लिए तू 10 साल पढ़ता है. IPS पास करने के लिए 10 साल ग्रेजुएशन पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन के बाद में पढ़ के 30 साल में बच्चा पास होता है. इतनी पढ़ना पड़ता है. So vast is the syllabus. इधर 3 महीने में ऑफिसर बनना चाहता है equivalent to IAS, IPS, और फाउंडेशन इज जीरो. So what is missing today is foundation. Can a beautiful building, your beautiful building here, what a beautiful building, can it sustain without foundation?
True.
फाउंडेशन ही नहीं है, फ्रेजाइल फाउंडेशन, फाउंडेशन खोखला है, इसके ऊपर आप बिल्डिंग बना रहे हो, कब तक चलेगा ये? Won't it crumple and bloody break down? नीचे आएगा ये, it will crack.
Yes.
तो यही हो रहा है आज की यंगस्टर्स में. Foundation zero. Foundation is not there. Now, what is the foundation of personality? Like a building, there are 3 things which I keep telling my youngsters. One is general awareness, which is missing. They don't know anything happening in the world. They don't know anything happening around their own India. Nation के अंदर क्या हो रहा है पता ही नहीं है. मणिपुर में क्या हो रहा है बच्चे को पता ही नहीं है. मणिपुर किधर है पूछ रहा है. ये हालत है. They don't know. General awareness is zero. And nobody is bothered. Even school में teachers are not. Teachers को भी नहीं पता तो क्या सिखाएंगे उनको. Second thing is communication skill. Next foundation of personality, which is missing. Verbal and non-verbal communication. दोनों missing है. क्यों? Schools are responsible. Basic education responsible. And a major responsibility goes to this mobile technology. This mobile has ruined the lives of children now. Because full-time addiction on multimedia. Entertainment. And बकवास. बकवास से ज़्यादा कुछ भी नहीं है इसके अंदर. और बच्चों में लिखने की जो बेसिक इंग्लिश लिखने की क्षमता ज़ीरो हो गया. क्यों? हर बच्चा अपनी लैंग्वेज में इंग्लिश लिखता है. पंग्लिश, पंजाबी इंग्लिश मिक्स्ड, हिंग्लिश, हिंदी इंग्लिश मिक्स्ड, मलयालम में बोलते हैं मंग्लिश. ये आ गया उनकी लैंग्वेज. अब क्या हो गया उसके चक्कर में? बेसिक इंग्लिश जो बचपन में पढ़ा है वो भूल गया. यू का स्पेलिंग ही नहीं जानता, यू ही जानता है. वह यू जानता ही नहीं है. आर ही हो गया बस. आर याद ही नहीं है.
I see you is I,
Yes.
then C, and then you.
And no punctuality, there is no punctuation, there is no capital letters, there is no grammar, कुछ भी नहीं है. जो मन में आ गया लिखो पढ़ो. अब क्या हो गया इस चक्कर में? यू हैव बिकम अनपढ़. बाहर जाएगा तो अनपढ़ ही मानेगा ना. एक लाइन इंग्लिश में नहीं लिख सकता, ऑफिसर बनना चाहता है. तमन्ना बहुत है, अंदर से खोखला है. और nobody is bothered. The whole system is not bothered. That's the reason we have scarcity of army officers today. 14,000 plus army officers की shortage है Indian army में. Imagine. And the third largest army in the world. And we don't have men to lead them. This is a major issue. And we don't have our system ready. इसलिए हमको डबल काम करना पड़ता है. क्यों? ये तीन चीज मैंने बोला. वन मोर थिंग इज देयर. वन इज जनरल अवेयरनेस, सेकंड इज कम्युनिकेशन स्किल, थर्ड इज फिजिकल एंड मेंटल फिटनेस. ये भी जीरो है बच्चों में आजकल. फिजिकल एंड मेंटल फिटनेस इज अबिसमली पुअर. 10 पुशअप नहीं कर सकता बच्चा. 20 साल की लड़का, ही कॉन्ट ब्लडी डू 10 पुशअप्स. ही कॉन्ट डू 1 chin up. And you want to become an army officer and safeguard his nation against enemies. Is it possible? Can it possible?
आप बॉडी बिल्डिंग शुरू से करते आ रहे हो. It's been I think more than 40 years.
I started bodybuilding when I was 16 year old.
16 years old. And if I may know, what is your age?
I am 63.
Amazing. And
I am 1960 born.
And आप आज भी 100 पुशअप्स करके आए हो.
Yes. I start the day with 100 push-ups non-stop.
तो ये
And start my day.
लंबी फिटनेस, how have you been able to maintain? And you've been Mr. Kerala as well.
It's habit. I mean, here I'm happy to say it's a good habit. It's not a bad habit. You see, it's a passion. You know, keeping yourself fit is a passion. And let me tell you one more thing. When you are fit, you feel confident to face the world. You feel good. You feel your chest fills with pride. And you feel like, yes, I am a trainer, I can train the others. Because खुद ही अंदर खोखला है तो तू दूसरे को ट्रेन कर सकता है? नहीं कर सकता है ना.
True.
ये प्रॉब्लम है इंडिया में. इंडिया में हिपोक्रेसी बहुत ज़्यादा है. जो बोलता है वो करता नहीं है ग्राउंड में. गिविंग ए वेरी सिंपल वन एग्जाम्पल आई वुड लाइक टू टेल हियर. हु आर आवर लीडर्स? ऑल पॉलिटिकल लीडर्स, इजंट इट? एंड हर पॉलिटिकल लीडर इधर बोलता है देश के लिए कुर्बानी करो. यंगस्टर्स को बोलते हैं देश के लिए मरना है, जीना है, लड़ना है, देश सब कुछ है. और कैन एनीबडी आस्क दीज पीपल, आपकी बच्चा किधर है? देश के लिए मरना है ना, देश के लिए लड़ना है ना, आपकी बच्चा किधर है? व्हाई ही इज नॉट इन द आर्मी? हैज एनीबडी आस्क्ड? नोबडी आस्क्ड.
Yes, no one has asked.
दैट इज व्हाई वी आर कॉल्ड पब्लिक गधा बोलते हैं हम लोग. इसलिए गधा है. नोबडी आस्क्ड. एंड आई हैव हार्डली सीन, देयर आर वन और ऑड, हार्डली सीन all these leaders' children are either they are abroad studying or they are pursuing vigorously the father's business of professionally becoming a politician. This is the naked truth. And all these people who talk about nationality, patriotism, ये आपके लिए है. आपकी बच्चे लड़ेगा जाके, मेरा बच्चा नहीं लड़ेगा। मेरा बच्चा बैठेगा आपके ऊपर दोबारा लीडर बन के, तुम्हारे बच्चे जाके लड़ेगा मेरे बच्चों के लिए। यू लुक एट इज़राइल, everybody fights, every single person fights. Leaders have been, today's Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, he was a commando of the armed forces. He fought wars. ऐसे नहीं होता है, ये देश ऐसे नहीं आगे जाता है।
It has been wonderfully talking to you, talking about so many topics, which even I had not planned asking you questions about, but उससे बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिला. Not only me, but everybody who is viewing this podcast, ऐसी चीज़ें सीखने को मिली हैं और एक ऐसे न्यूट्रल अंदाज में मिली हैं और आपके स्टाइल में मिली हैं जिसे you're going to impact so many lives after this
I'll be
podcast.
grateful if anybody feels that what is right and what is wrong, because everybody's got their own perspective about life. Everybody perception is different होता है ना. So I've been very humbled to express myself, not with the reasons I am right and others are not right, or you are not right, I am right. It is just my take on life, or my perspective about life, or how I see life myself, and what all I've learned from my experience, my wisdom. Maybe I am wrong, and I am open to criticisms. I am open to learning. I am open to correcting myself. I got no problems.
बट आप जाने से पहले एक हमारे व्यूअर्स के लिए, इस देश के यूथ के लिए एक आपका इंस्पायर मी मंत्रा हम सुनना चाहते हैं. जो मैं तो ऑलरेडी इंस्पायर्ड हूँ आपसे, बट मैं चाह रहा हूँ कि वो सभी वो आपके उस मंत्रा से इंस्पायर हों जो आपकी ज़िंदगी में आज तक रहे और जो आपको लगता है कि हर किसी को अपनाना चाहिए.
I personally feel you have to be optimistic about life. Don't carry stress in your mind, which I told earlier also. And be humane. Be compassionate to others. Because this planet has been God gifted to us, to human beings. There may be many life forms in this huge and humongous universe. There must be many life forms, aliens, we don't know. But this planet has been kindly given to us by the Almighty. इसको बचा के रखना चाहिए हम लोग. और let's stop this killing each other. And this is, we have to have more compassion to each other. That's the only way we can survive in this world. We will all go. आप आएंगे, आपकी जनरेशन नीचे आएंगे. I wish to see maybe after lakhs of years, the humankind is still surviving in this planet, which is very doubtful now. God bless.
Thanks a lot for your time and for the wonderful wisdom you have shared. बहुत अच्छा लगा, and hopefully आपसे दोबारा फिर मुलाकात होगी कुछ और इंटरेस्टिंग टॉपिक्स.
Thank you, Supreet. Thank you, and I'm grateful to you for giving this opportunity to have. I enjoyed every minute of this interview, and thank you for everybody. God bless.